Good morning, folks. This is your host, NCommander, and today I hope... And yes, the face cam is back. I finally found the adapter buried in all the stuff that I've had. So, today, we're playing with Cobol. It's been a while since we streamed, so... you might notice that there's a few changes. For one, directly above me, you may notice that I put a donation tracker goal. If you've been following me on Patreon, you know that there's been some major life stuff going on. I'm not going to go into details on this stream, but every little bit would, if you want to help one of these days I'll get words out. If you want to help support the channel and help me continue to be able to do projects like this, consider supporting the channel either through a super chat, Patreon, or through the Streamlabs donation, which is in the description. I'm not certain I'm going to keep the tracker for future streams, but I'm kind of experimenting to see what I can and can't do just while I go through a fairly large period of upheaval. You can't see me. Wait, hold on. Is the stream... something go wrong with the stream? Oh, that's weird. I can see myself... Oh, that's really weird. I don't know. Hold on. Why do I not... Why am I not... Oh, hold on. There we go. Oh, that was weird. Okay, so I think I should be visible on stream now. Like, can you see me? I'm waiting for the chat latency to catch up. The webcam was accidentally set to only visible on recording, but I switched over to using Streamlabs instead of OBS as an experiment. But it still hasn't caught up. Okay. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. I was just waiting for the YouTube lag to catch up. All right. Progress. So, anyway, Cobol. Oh boy, where do I start with this one? So, Cobol is one of the oldest programming languages still used. I'm actually, you know what? Let me pull up the Wikipedia page because, it's, trust me when I say there's a lot to cover and it's a little bit crazy. Now, oh right, this is broken. Why is display capture? Come on. There it goes. Display capture. Oh, and then now that shows up. You can tell that I've been messing with the scenes and it's being all sorts of interesting and broken. So anyway, I've been looking at GNU Cobol, but let's start with Wikipedia, because Wikipedia has basically the best rundown, and one of these days I will have technology not hate me. Cobol first appeared in 1959. It was basically designed to use the English language to define programming constructs. So the a basic Cobol program, which I'll pull up here, instead of using, like, in C we do something like int main like this to show the beginning of a program. In Cobol, the information is divided into various divisions. So you have the identification division, which has the program ID hello. Data division is your variables, and procedural division is your basic code. So, yeah. Yeah, no, I know I disappeared. 720p. I should be live streaming at 1080p. That may be a problem with... Hold on, let me check my settings. Audio bitrate is fine. Oh, yeah, it downsampled. I might have... I don't think I can change down the fly. I would have to restart the stream. Luke 1337. So that was a bit of a mistake with just getting the new setup up and running. When I decided to do the stream, I wrote out a couple of basic tasks I want to do. So I want to do basic input-output, learn with doing filling in structures, handling flow control, looking at streams, dealing with the unique types of data types that Cobol has, because Cobol was designed to deal with structured data. Essentially, this is easier to show. So if you look right here, you'll notice that if you're familiar with Visual Studio Code, and I'll make this bigger so it's easier to see, at the beginning of every Cobol line, the first 6 fields, the first 6 characters are line number, or line number. This is then followed by a what's the actual name for it? It's a data field that basically defines what that column is used for. So if you do a bracket like that, you get a comment. Hold on. This is easier if I actually pull up the manual, because like I said, I am actually trying to learn Cobol. Because at some point I want to try to do some mainframe stuff. Yes, so here it is. The first 6 numbers are the sequence area number. The 7th is the indicator area. And then you have area A, B, and then basically anything past that for 80 characters. The concept of 80 characters, you know, if you've ever seen why so many programs expect 80 characters, it's because how punch cards worked. So that's the long and short of how Cobol starts. So before the stream, I did this basic Hello World program, and we can compile it by doing cobc-x hello.cob, and then that creates Hello World. And GNU, this is GNU Cobol. It's available for free on pretty much any operating system. I'm just using the copy that's in Ubuntu as part of Linux for Scratch. I assume the donation, it sounds like a donation tried to happen and failed. I don't know. It's possible that there's more problems. Oh, here it is. Semicolon, $3, $3. Let's go. Thank you for the first donation under Streamlabs. So I think before we start digging into this, looking at some of the sample programs is kind of fascinating, because if you go to the GNU Cobol webpage, which is on SourceForge, they have an entire page of example programs. But a lot of them, like, it's very interesting. Like, these look like they came straight out of a mainframe. It's like some of them have date RIN 1974. So, like, CobDump is a useful little utility for formatting, to produce formatted hexadecimal and character dumps of the data area passed to it. If you want to follow the GNU Cobol forums, you have undoubtedly heard of the Cobol OC dump subroutine that was a winning entry in a GNU Cobol programming contest. It's a great tool for producing data dumps, and it's now included in the official GNU Cobol distributions. So this essentially is like a routine to just dump a storage area. And we can see various things. Like, you can see the environmental configuration repository. I'm still not completely sure what half of this does, because I've looked through the manual, and a lot of what I learned by doing is by reading and experimenting with code, but this is so different from a lot of what I was used to. This is one that I kind of wanted to check out. Colors is a handy GNU Cobol utility program that will produce a screen of all the possible combinations of foreground color, background color, highlight, reverse, and reverse blinking. So let's see if we can actually build this. Although actually getting it into a file might be a little bit interesting. How long is it? Like, this is, why are you shipping example code like this? And there's a distinct, this is like 1,000 lines. That's a 1,000-line sample program that really looks like it should be able to use loops, although I don't know if the language prevents it. Oh. Alright. I don't know, maybe we can find something a little... Oh, look! Look! It's an example that fits on one page. Let's see if we can actually build this. So what is this one? Day from date. It's a user-defined function that accepts a single numeric usage display, either a 7-day or an 7-digit Julian date in the form of YYYDDD, or an 8-digit Gregorian date in YYYMMDD. What the heck's a Julian date? Oh. Yeah, sorry. I also tried the Streamlabs moderator, and I think it's a little bit too aggressive because I just noticed it flags someone. We've had it, for those who are new to the stream, there's been an ongoing issue with spam bots in the channel. Trying some automated tools to help with that. So let's see if we can actually build this one, because this one looks straightforward enough. So let's call this date today Cobol. And now that we have it copied in, you can see how the line numbers basically ended up here. And I don't know if it let's see here. I don't know if it changed the formatting, but I think what happened is there's an extra... Is there an extra tab? I can't tell. See, unfortunately, you're dealing with a programming language that the actual spacing on the left-hand side matters because the line number matters. But let's see if we can build this, and let's try this. So, Cobol CX, date to date. Unexpected literal on line 44. Linkage section 9. Okay, I'm like completely lost. Like, I've done a lot of programming and I'm already having... I'm surprisingly, let's see, a procedural division using LDT time linkage. I guess this is something I need to call in from a different program. Yeah, okay, you know what, that makes sense. If linkage section is equivalent to extern, like if I can't put inline comments, that would be something, what, like this? If I want to make a comment, what is it? It's an asterisk. So linkage section is like extern. The easiest way to know is I'll look at the programmer's manual, because the programmer's manual will basically tell me how this all works. And I apologize if this is a little bit disjointed, but I really wasn't sure where to even begin with this, because it's... Let's see here. So the programmer's manual... And I will again switch to desktop view so you can see what I'm looking at. This talks of the intrinsic functions in the language. Like, if we look at linker section. Is this not searchable? Of course, it's not searchable. Oh, no, it is searchable. It's just being a little laggy. Actually, you know, I thought there was an HTML. Yes, this is available in HTML. So what I'm looking for here is linkage section. Okay, so here we go. Complete program syntax. So this defines every possible section that can exist in a Cobol program. Like, oh, that's a little bit too big. So identification division, environment division, configuration section, and in the very old days, this would be stuff that would be set aside for an operator or such. Hey, Adam. I hope you're going well. Yeah. Yeah, if the bot starts flagging people excessively, I'll disable it. It's like I said, this is more of a trial run than anything else. Chris, don't worry about feeling lost, because I'm already feeling lost. It's like... I had this crazy idea of I want to sit down and try doing something in Cobol, and this is where this is where it starts. Like, the example code sections they give seem to assume that you have a pretty good understanding of Cobol as a programming language. So then let's try something very simple. Let's try and store a value in a variable and do some basic math. So let's look at variables. Let's see here. Runtime like, I believe those are in the declaration section. I'm running Windows 11 primarily because I want my video card to work. I really got sick of it just constantly being a problem under Linux. There was some example, like, let's take a look at the example code here. So the data types we have here are, I believe, pic is like picture. It's any sort of, like, I don't even have a whole lot of sample code to work with. So let's try making a, try variables, COV. And let's grab the source code to our basic variable. So variable test. And that means we need something in the data division. Working storage, if I remember correctly, and I will look this up. Working storage. It's like the actual programmer's manual doesn't tell you anything useful. Right, data items in Cobol are declared hierarchy through level numbers that indicate if the data item is part of another one. So this is essentially how structures work in Cobol. Here we go, data types. Alphabetical, alphanumerical, Boolean, index, national, that's UTF-8, or numeric. So contain exactly 7 digits. So if we want to define a variable, so data division, so it would be like 01. Let's work here. Test. Pick. Would that be like 9, 1? 1 defining that it's... Is that valid? Test variable, and then it needs a period at the end. So is that a valid program? The answer is no, but at least now I'm getting more useful information from the compiler. So working section. So data division, we've got. Does it have to be in a working storage section? Invalid indicator 7, line 7. Indicator U. Oh wait, hold on. This needs to be completely indented like that, doesn't it? Okay, I think we successfully defined a variable. How do I... So, can I do something like display test variable? Is that legal, Cobol? Hey! There we go. We have successfully set a variable. Remember this acronym. In every darn program, these are the first letters of the divisions of every program, usually. Okay, so I'm actually going to note this because I gotta tell you, my own when I do a noted source code, if I need to go look at it in the future, it really does help. So let's add some notes. So identification division handles information. You know, I'm not going to note this copy. We'll do a little bit more practice ones, and then we'll fix it up. So data division, working storage division. So if we want to do... So can we combine variables, like display hello world and test variable? Is that valid? Like... No, it's not. Alright, so let me see what I can do. Let's take a look at the actual keywords in Cobol, which there are a lot. Keywords. Where's the full list of keywords? Let's programmer's guide. Probably the quick reference is what I want right now. Like, if I want display... Well, that just gives me the syntax. That's about as useful as it gets. Like, if I want to display it as one line... Like, I guess I would have to do something like define a test string. Like, if we look over here, these all handle days in, days out, binary long. So if I want to do something like a string, there was some examples on Wikipedia, which is probably all I really need to get the grammar here. Because you can do data levels and more. So, like, I want to find a string. Like, here's how you handle various columns and cells for running reports. Because that's one of the big things that you do with Cobol is do the report writer. It's more. Oh, I'm Steel Comedy. Thank you for the $22 donation. I do this for myself because it entertains people and it helps keep these sorts of things alive. By and large, Cobol is like, in my professional career, I have not run into Cobol. It's the thing that has always been talked about as the horrific dinosaur, but I've never actually used it, and the language has object-oriented programming functions. When I was a kid, we actually had a book on Cobol at the house. I think I got it as, like, I used to do a lot of computer programming when I was little, and I think it just got purchased at some point. So I have actually coded in Cobol, but I've never seen it in my professional career. So I kind of want to meet the tales of your, like, this is one of the big things with Cobol is you load in a whole bunch of data, usually from, well, back in the day it would have been from punch card. These days it would be electronic data. It would then generate a report, spit it out, and that's actually how your taxes are done in the United States. The IRS's tax system was literally built in 1960. It's mostly a combination of 390 assembler and no doubt Cobol. Okay, so let me look back at the programming manual, because obviously I want to figure out how to actually do something. Like, if I want to... So, perform alpha. So, procedures are handled through perform. No parameter passing. Okay, that's lovely. So, it's basically all globals. There are labels. We have if statements, verbs... here we go. Data manipulation. Hello world. And if we wanted to run it on Hercules, like, Wikipedia is surprisingly useful for working with. I don't want to say obsolete because Cobol is still used in a lot of places, but I have found it really useful when I have to deal with tools that are older than I am. Like, okay, so just to give you an idea of what the syntax we're working with is, so hello world. So, can I do set test variable to 10? So, is that how you do an assignment? No. Move. So what does set do? Invalid target. Oh, wait, let's see here. Move 10 to test variable. Nope. Display A. Oh, wait, because it's not big enough. It's not big enough. Okay, it's not, it's literally the number of digits. It's not the size of them. If I want to do a 2-digit number, it needs to be a 2 it needs to have a value of 2. God, this is screwing with me. This is screwing with me in really bad ways because this is not how other programming languages work. Like so let me see here. Let me do, so add 10 to test variable. Okay. So display initial variable set. I don't know how not to make it print a new line, but we will get back to that. Yeah, so now that's 10 and 20. Let me make that font a little bigger. Yeah, you know, that's good enough. Yeah, this is base 10. So watch this. Watch this. So if we now add 79, or sorry, it would be 89. It now comes to 99, but if we add 90, it rolls over. One of the biggest criticisms of Cobol back in the day was it was a programming language that was entirely designed by a committee of non-programmers. Literally. It was created... Grace Hopper, who was a rear admiral in the U.S. Navy, was one of the Cobol's chief architects. And it was really designed to make it work with English. And to use a base 10 system makes sense for people who don't do programming. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Okay. So yeah, this is how Y2K, like let me show you exactly how Y2K, let me make a makefile, because you know what, I want people to be able to build this. So let's make a makefile. Or you know what, maybe a makefile is not the file to have here. Let's just have a build script, because I don't want to really think about make, and make requires me to use my brain. And I'm already mentally kind of hurting from some of this. So variables.cob, and we'll just output that in variables. Like, let's just put a little build script here. Okay, you know what? I'll put a... I should make this a makefile, but one problem at a time. So let's just get rid of the binaries. And then let's add a .getIgnore. Okay, that's pushed up onto GitHub. Oh boy. So yeah, so let me show you. So now that we've learned how to do math, let's do an example of why Y2K was an actual problem. I knew about this. So Y2K, why it's Cobol Y2K example. Actually, before I do that, let's do a little bit more of variables, because let's do something with this variable before we create our example. Initial variable set. So we basically show how variables roll over. Let's create a report, because you've let's create a data record. I believe it's what's called a data record. So like I said, Wikipedia kind of helps here. If we create a I guess we'll go customer record. And then like, I guess you would need, yeah, you would want a customer ID. Like, I am suddenly understanding how so many databases work, and it's a little bit terrifying. Like, I have now know where a lot of, like, looking back, I can tell what code I've worked on in my life originally escaped a Cobol mainframe. So customer record, customer key. So if we do something like that, is this still going to compile? Okay, that. If I do /p, does it make it be quiet about? Yeah, it makes it be quiet about the directory existing. So customer record, customer name. And just so it's, so if we have the field customer name, and then customer first, this needs to have pick. So we'll say customer name is what, 30 characters? Actually, it doesn't look like I need a record for that. So pic stands for picture. X means I can store, X means I can store alphanumeric values. Like the 9 says I'm storing a number. X, I believe it's just any letter, any LAN letter. Okay. I don't know. I don't even want to think about floating point math on this, because at some point, you know, like, if I can actually get decent enough at Cobol, would be semi-tempted to try and get this working on a mainframe. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I think it would drive me a little bit crazy. I'm going to just make this a little bigger. Like, yeah, we got off to a little bit of a rough start with the stream, but definitely starting to get back to form. So if we've got this record type, so how do we use it? So aggregated data. Data items in Cobol are declared hierarchy for the use of level numbers, which indicate if a data item is part of another. An item with a higher level number is subordinate to a lower level one. Top level items with a level number 1 are called records. Okay. So this is what's known, yeah, so this is aggregate data. So if I want to create, so if I want to, I am completely lost. Okay. You know, I'm going to turn down the Streamlabs chat thing because obviously it's being a little bit too aggressive. Here it is, CloudBot. Yeah, let me turn the paranoia level down. Okay. There we go. No, it looks like the 5, like, you know how in, they're basically the level of hierarchy. So 1 is top level, 5 would be second level, 10 would be third level. It's arbitrary except for the fact that it has to be a value 1 through 99. As far as I can figure this out. So if I want to specify a customer record, if invalid record is, so if I want to create a record, like, let me look in the Cobalt guide, because the Cobalt guide probably has something that helps me. Set to true, perform, right, yeah, so this is how you define a structure, but I have no idea how you actually use a structure. Because this exists as a variable in the working section. It's not a data type in and of itself. Add 90 to test variable display. I feel like there needs to be a better way to do this. Like, Programmer's Guide for GNU Cobol. Case insensitivity, copybooks. Okay, you know what? Let me go to Cobalt Fundamentals in the reserved language book. So if we go back to the top, the GNU 1,130 reserved words. Like, eek. Okay, user-defined words. It is case insensitive because when Cobol was created, computers didn't support case. Critics of Cobol frequently focus on the wordiness of the language. I don't have a problem with wordy languages. Trust me, I've been debugging Perl recently. But okay, here's an actual program. If we want to create the sum of all integers, all right, you know what? Why don't we write out this program and figure out the nuts and bolts of how it works? Because at least I think I'm starting to get this. Sum.cobol. Let's see here. And again, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to just keep it like. I don't think I actually need that, but I think it doesn't look like Cobalt unless you have it indented properly. So indentification set division, program ID sum, and let's put a comment. This is an example. You know what? We'll put this right at the top. This is an example program working with sums and variables directly based on the example given. What's my... Wow, only 60 characters. Hold on. Like, 60... I should have a bit more than that because, you know, 80 characters was the standard. Sums... Actually, you can see right here, the right-hand bar is the actual limit. I don't think the compiler actually cares, but the language actually does. Directly is given in the GNU Cobol manual. Okay. I mean, mainframe, basically anything that came from the mainframe era tends to be pretty serious. So data division, working section division. I am happy that at least it has... Oh, that was not what I wanted. At least I was really happy I could find a... what is it? A language server for Cobalt just so I wouldn't have... I could have tab complete. Like, tab complete makes life much, much nicer. Okay, so... Data division... So it wants to define O1 N binary long. So I'm going to assume that would be a 64-bit integer, because if it's saying long, it's the it would be a quad word in terms of compilation. So O1I binary long. That's obviously a loop counter, and O1. So we define 3 variables in our data division. Let's see here. Procedure division. Okay, so just alright, it's not division. So display, enter a positive integer. Except n. This reads in a variable. And then it's... Wow, that is a syntax. Perform varying I from 1 until I is greater than n. Add I to n. No, add I to sum. Sorry, I'm gonna just keep it on Chrome because I am tabbing in and out pretty quickly. Perform. Display sum. Alright, so does that actually, like, I don't know, build? Let's just add it to our build script. No, it does not build. Alright. What did I do wrong here? Well, first I apparently screwed up this file. Wow, I am... How did I do that? Source identification section. On line 14, missing literal. Oh. And then unknown on column U. Okay, so now it's just complaining about this one. Let me catch up with chat just because I've been kind of coding for a while. Well, building a language server for VS Code is not particularly hard. It's one of the better featured. I don't remember if language servers came from VS Code. My brain wants to say they came from Atom, but I'm not actually sure about that. And obviously, we need more caffeine for this. It's a great time to remind people to help support the channel. I'm going to try and have monthly fundraiser goals. One of the other things I've done, if you look on GitHub, is I do have GitHub sponsors set up. My hope is that with time, I'll be able to get the channel to make, like, I have an idea of what I want to do in Cobol, but I'm not certain it's going to happen, mostly because it's a very large project, and we're mostly seeing how much pain and suffering I can tolerate programming in Cobol. But if this turns out to work out the way I want to, I might do more streams along these lines. So, source format is fixed. I guess, strictly speaking, do I not need that? I guess it needs to be there, because I feel like that's a pragma, but I don't know if it actually... Yeah, no, you know what? It is a pragma. Ignoring invalid directory. So, this... Yeah, stolen... I think an asterisk in this column means it's a comment. But I'm not completely certain I have the rules right. Okay, so line 23, it's complaining that it's not a new line. Procedural division, header missing. Oh, right, because you need to be up here. Syntax, yeah, so if we fix that. 12. Some unexpected sum, but that's the name of the variable, unless that's a reserved word. Like, does their own example not actually build? Okay, so perform statement not terminated by perform because you need a period. I'm starting to get the hang of this. Or do these not need... Okay, they don't need periods. So enter positive integer. What's it doing? Okay, so this reads in a variable. Enter perform varying I from 1 until I... What? Surely a program that asks... So let me look back at the actual book. The Java version, which... Okay. So the Java version reads in an integer, reads it in as into the variable n. It has a sum and then just adds each one together. So what am I doing wrong here? So... Oh, okay. Hold on. This reads in n. Enter a positive integer until perform varying. So I guess it's a varying number of loops, varying for value of I from 1 until I is greater than n. Oh, wait, hold on. If I do... Oh, okay, I see what it's doing. It's doing what... If I do 1, it will print out 1. If I do 2, it adds out 3. And then if I do 3, it's 6 because it's adding up each number all the way through. Like, yeah, it's passing through... Like, let me add a line here. So display... It's interesting, like, what are the rules of the periods? Yeah, see, so you can see how it's looping each time through. That is not an intuitive example. That is an extremely unintuitive example. You also have the fact that, look how it's writing out the value. It's writing it out as a signed positive integer because it's a binary long value of 0. Like, why would you make this the example in your own programming manual? That is actually a very good thing to talk about. Cobol, in and of itself, there is something called UTF-EBIC, which talks about storing Unicode in IBM's binary encoding, because mainframes don't use ASCII. It's one of the very few places you will actually not see ASCII. You'll see EBIC. Oh boy. This is fascinating for all the wrong reasons. It's literally looking into a world of programming that no longer exists. Like, this perform syntax, it reminds me of Pascal, but this just feels overly excessive. All right, well, let's see what else the big book of programming has to continue us. Oh, when I see quotes like that. Okay. My familiarity with Cobol may be prejudicing my opinion, but it doesn't appear to me that the Java code is any simpler than the Cobol code. And it then goes on to character counts between the Java and Cobol version. You know what, Chad? I'm going to ask you to look at this because obviously I'm a programmer. I've been doing this for almost my entire life. Which one of these makes more sense to you, especially for people that don't program? Like, the pile of Java or the pile of Cobol? The Cobol has done better than some programming languages. I am currently in the hell of trying to find someone to help maintain Perl. And Dr. Shuppet, thank you for the $10 tip. I will note that superchats will not show up on the donation tracker, but if they do happen, I will manually add them after the fact, if I can. Despite what you see here, the more complex programming language should be implemented, the more concise Java code compared to blah, blah, blah. The conciseness comes with a price, though. Program code readability. Java or C or C++ or C# programs are generally intelligible to only trained programmers. COBOL programs can also be understandable by non-programmers. Now, let's be honest. COBOL comes from 1957. I'm not going to criticize it for being modern. But this document is relatively new. The modern languages like Java also have their own, this is fascinating to read. This is like, the inherent readability comes in handy for many times in my career where I've had to learn obscure business or legal processes by reading the COBOL program code that supports them. Let's see if there's more. Okay. And then you get to this great little bit right here. With its original limitation on the length of variable names, 1 to 6 characters comprised of a letter followed by up to 5 digits. So originally, due to memory constraints, you had 6 characters and a number, and that's all you had to give your code to. And then clearly even multiply price by quantity, giving extended amount. Like, chat, I want your opinion on this. Like, let me run a poll. Let me pull up the chat and let me run a poll. I really want to know what folks think. Because this screams to me second system syndrome. The whole point of COBOL was to make it easy for non-programmers to read and write code. That's why it uses English. Its largest competitors at the time, it really would have been Fortran. Would have been Fortran and assembler language, a pure machine language, assembly language. I mean, let's actually look at a period correct example. Like, let's look at some Fortran code. Because Fortran was 57, so if we go to really original Fortran, I mean, yeah, okay, you know what? That's a fair argument. COBOL is damn right readable compared to that. What is this, Fortran 2? Yeah, Fortran 2. I feel like I should get that dinosaur out at some point, but I need to learn how to read this. Alright, so let's go. Because of its inherent readability, I would much rather be handed an assignment to make significant changes to a COBOL program that I know nothing about than asked to be done the same with a C, C++, C#, or Java program. Alright, I'm just going to kind of scroll on right past this because there's more concepts to be learned here. COBOL programs are structured into 4 major areas of coding, each with its own purpose. These 4 areas are known as divisions. I was talking about this a little bit earlier. Each division may consist of sections, and each section may consist of 1 or more paragraphs. A paragraph can... okay, I'm guessing those are blocks and statements in other programming languages. Again, continuing the English analogy and understanding that this predates the everything. Copy statement. A copybook is a statement of program code that may be utilized by multiple programs simply by having those programs use the copy statement to import the code. Okay, this is something I actually knew about. COBOL allows for not only self-modifying code, it lets you do things the C preprocessor. It allows for really fascinating abuses of a preprocessor. Copy is the equivalent of include in C. Okay. So structured data. A continuous area of storage within the memory space of a program may be referenced by name in a COBOL program referred to as a data item. So this is actually a very important thing to talk about. In the era of when COBOL was created, you are talking about a room-sized computer that's running batch processing. Memory locations were probably handled more like by... I guess the compiler would still handle memory allocation for you on the heap and stack, but that was by no means a standard feature. And it introduced the concept of structured data. The principle of structured data in Cobol is based on the idea of being able to group related and continuously allocated data items in a single aggregate data item called a group item. Right, so this is essentially structures. And this talks about the type of files, because Cobol has multiple types of files, more than what we're used to. Organized lines. So the highest characteristic of file structures are putting it. So there's organized line sequential. These files are the simplest of all the internal structures. They're basically fixed sized record, ASCII, end of record, yada yada yada. Okay. And you define a format, line advancing. Like, do we have an example here? Like, I would love to see an example of this. Is there really no example? There is no example. Okay. So, if we want to read in a file, or let's say we want to write out a file. Records must be read and arrange this file in purely sequential 1 through 99. Get a new program. Line advancing. Organized sequential. Right, well, it all assumes it's sequential read and write. I'm assuming there's... Yeah, here it is. This is where it talks about relative. The file organization is fixed length data prefixed by a record locator and allows for random reads and writes. And this is probably all implication defined. Suggestion: use a copybook to describe the record layouts of any file. This guarantees that a program accessing the file will seem the same record or layouts by coding a copy statement to import the record. Yes. Okay. So I guess header file. This would be equivalent of a header file. Like, the concepts don't match one-to-one, but I am trying to map this to what I actually know. I have never... Oh, you know what? Rosetta Code... Yeah, that's a good idea. Rosetta Code, Cobol. I completely forgot that this existed. That's a lot of it. That's a lot of interesting examples. So, like, let's look at how file looks. So, file input and output. Actually, you know, I just had a better idea of a program we should do is 99 bottles of beer. That's a pretty classic one. But I'm a little interested to see how files actually look. Wow, this is taking forever to load. Oh, there it goes. Oh, right, because it loads it all as one page. So let's go to Cobol. Well, okay, all right. So this has a file section, and then we have the records, the output records, the working section. And then you can read the input, read the output. Here. So this is Cobol 85 for Micro Focus. This is Open Cobol. This is actually a little bit cleaner. Select file, assign input, assign output. And Well, you know what? Let's try writing, like, if we want to write a record out, let me copy and open this to another folder. Because looking at, this is actual example code that is useful. Let's see. Conditional structures, flow control structures. I want to see records. Because, like, this is all basic programming examples, but I want to see something that uses, like, the hierarchy thing that we've done. This is sample data indented. There's Ada. Here we go. Well, this isn't actually doing any sections, but it is reading and writing out various data. Read fixed length records. Okay, so you know what? Here's how we do it. Let's define a file section. Like, let's do a file. Let's do file test.cob. And let's just copy our basic code here. So data division, working section, procedurals division. So let's get rid of all this. And let's add a file section. So with a file section, and again, I will keep it, just so I'm not copying, alt-tabbing constantly. Sorry, it'd be an environmental division. So environmental division talks about everything the program needs to run. Input-output section. Oh, Mr. Happy, thank you for the $50 donation towards this month's, honestly, this month's food bill is really what it's going to just come down to. Okay. Yeah, the stream ended up at 720p. I'd have to restart it to fix it, and I can't eat it. It was a problem. It's the problem with using Streamlab. It will be fixed for the next one. I don't want to shut the stream down because if the problem with YouTube is once you shut it down, you shut it down, and I don't know if Streamlabs will completely shut the stream interface down because unlike Twitch where basically you connect the client and the stream just goes live, on YouTube you have to connect it to a broadcast. On OBS, I can close the client down and it will still keep the stream going. Streamlabs has a higher level of integration by default. If I click the end stream button, it might shut the stream down entirely and I won't be able to restart it. So that's why I'm not going to do it. I need to get more used to using Streamlabs. So let's create an output file. So this would be file control. And then we will select out file as outfile.txt. I'm mostly just copying this as is, organizational line sequential. So now we've got this file that exists, and let's add it to our build script. Select out file. Unexpected control, expected section. Input output. File control. Environmental division. Input output section. Oh, hold on. Select assign. Oh, it's expecting sequential. Missing file description for file out file. What is this? So what does this select clause do exactly? Like, let's look that up, because obviously that's something kind of important, because it tells you how the file works. Programmer's Guide. Select. Well, that's a syntax. Select statement syntax. The select statement creates a definition of a file and links that Cobol definition to the external environment. So this is essentially file abstraction, because this could be a punch card device. It could be basically anything. All right. The optional, the reserve, after file name 1, various clauses may be coded in any sequence. A period must follow the last coded clause. The optional clause is to only be used files that will provide input data for the program. Indicates the file may not be available at runtime. Okay. Yeah, that needs to have optional on it. The example code had it, but I want to know why it had to exist. I don't like copy and pasting code without knowing what it does. So select optional for file out file. So what am I missing? Oh, it needs to be here in the file section, and it needs to define the actual record. Okay, hold on. So the file section, let me see if I understand how this works correctly. So FD, file descriptor, I assume that stands for, out file, O1 outline, pick, and then it can just be anything 256, like that. So we tried that. Data division header missing. Oh, it has to be in the other way around. That has to be under the data division. I will say this is not the... at least the compiler gives you very good error messages, which is nice. Procedure. We don't have anything in the working section right now. Okay, so that builds. It shouldn't do anything, and it doesn't. But now we should be able to write something out of the file. So let's try open output out file, like that. Implicit close of out file. Did it actually? Oh, it did actually make it. Look at that. It did actually make it. So this needs to have a close statement at the end. Cool. Okay, so now we should be able to put a record into that file. So if we want to do display enter line, except, so we need to make a variable for this. O1 line to be added, pick x6. Accept line to be added. Write line to be added to out file. Like, does that work? No, I didn't think so, but missing, let's see here, file section. I probably should make this in all uppercase, the keywords. Alright, let's fix this. Display is a statement. Missing file description, so at line 10 it's unhappy. And this is not the music I want to listen to. Let's find out something more from the... Where's the ambient folder? Yeah, let's go back there. There we go. Mostly because I want to. I sort of want to do some stuff with mainframes at some point, but there's very little software that's available to run on mainframes. So the idea of coding something in Cobol to run on a mainframe, like even just building like a simple database program, loading it up on a mainframe, you know, compiling it, setting up, that would be setting up MVS, loading it up, and setting it to read and write data out. I would actually think that'd be a pretty cool project, but I need to be able to code. I could use a more modern programming language, but if I'm going to code on C on System 390, is it really that interesting? I'm being honest. Is it really that interesting? You can run C on basically anything. Cobol is the realm of old iron, and there's a few other ones I could run. There is RPG. I could actually do PLI on Multics. That one I know I can do because I've actually done it just as a test. I think RPG is possible with what's available in the public domain. But I don't know. It just seems interesting. Write out from line to be added. Oh, okay. Write out. Yeah, I should actually. Okay, from. All right, hold on. Did I get that backwards? From. Write outline. Oh, because it's the output, isn't it? If I set it to be right, it's just going to go, isn't it? Declaratives, end declaratives, mainline, open file, perform forever. Because I'm sorry, I'm looking at the. Let's see here. Write forever. Write outline from inline. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at read at what the test code does. Rewrite. I don't think I can put it just like that. Write out file from. So missing file description for file. Okay, so what am I missing here? File control. Select optional out file. Assign. So that's there. File section. Oh, hold on. File control. Did something get lost? Okay. Environmental division, in and output section, file control. Select optional out file, assign out file.text, organizational line end, that's correct. Data division. Oh, hold on. This needs a working storage section. Working storage section. That's probably the problem because it needs a variable. Yeah, that was the problem. I needed a working... I'm starting to get the hang of this. Write requires a record name as the subject. So what's the exact syntax for write? Because obviously I'm not quite getting it. So write... So it just says to do write the record name. So it's just like this. Because we have the output file already set. Write subject does not refer to a record name. All right. Write out file. Wait, let me just see if I can get it to build. Requires a record name as a subject. So if I look back at the Rosetta code sort of thing, write outline from inline. Section. Oh, okay, hold on. Do I not need a different working storage section? Like, can I do this? I can do that. Okay, we successfully wrote a file. We have successfully written a file. Okay, hold on. Okay, alright, that's all up on GitHub now. Alright, well, now we have successfully written a file. I don't know what we do with it. So that's kind of interesting on how that actually works, because you notice that we just do open output file, and that redirects what we would call standard output in this day and era. But Cobol was designed in an era of batch processing. Now, again, we are going back to punch card era. In the very, very early days of computing, you would basically have your program be loaded. You would basically submit your program as a deck or as a file, and it would be described in something called the Job Control Language, or JCL. JCL exists on, I want to say, all mini and mainframe computers. Obviously, there's variants, like there's digital command language, but you'll basically see it anywhere that isn't commodity computers or Unix, because Unix has shell scripting, but it's different than JCL. So we've got the record here. So now, if we want to do a more specific sort of thing, like if we want to switch, like, okay, so earlier we were doing this thing with the variables, where we wanted to do this customer record variable. So let's go to file test. And yet this should also be file test. Okay, so if I wanted to find the out file to have a customer record like this, and just so, like, let's just get rid of that for now. So it does build. So if I want to say, can we do something like this? Display, enter customer ID, accept customer ID. Can, okay. So if we then do write customer record like that. Alright, that didn't do anything. Customer record, open output, write customer output, write close output file. So I'm defining the record of what this file looks like. So it's a customer record. Hold on, do I have to write out, if I do write customer record, what happens? Just out of curiosity. I don't think that's valid, but I just want... Yeah, it's not valid. I didn't think it was. Right... Need write the record to a file. Hold on. Write out file from customer record. Is that what I need to do? Requires the record name as subject. I definitely don't quite get how this all goes together. So we have a customer record, ID, and if I want, because my understanding is I should be able to write out the customer record, and it would write out the entire structure just like that. But I'm not convinced that that's how it actually works. I'm obviously doing something wrong. I just don't know what. So we have the top level record like that. Like, let me look at a few more of the Cobol examples. Working storage section, file name in value, blah 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 blah. 50. Because technically speaking, this should be indented like this. You don't. The white space doesn't actually matter, but this defines the file storage type. So customer record 103030, just like that. Also, I just realized something. This is how that works because hold on. Display ID is that literally how you do it? Just like that? Because if that's how you can join variables, that's kind of nice. Yeah, that is actually how you do it. Okay, cool. Alright. So if I wanted to conjoin variables for display, that's how you do it. I assume that's probably done in other places, but I still need to figure out how you actually write the damn file out. Readout file. Write output text. Okay, so let me see how this works here. FD file, output text. Like if I do write customer record, just like that, what happens? Or customer ID, I should say. Yeah, nothing. Open out file, and the out file is open. It's an organizational line sequential. This is the data type. Like if we just get rid of the everything here except for this. Because you're alright, so now you're a top level record. Customer record is not defined. That's fine. Customer ID. Okay, that works. So if we switch this back around like that, so now we just have this. Let me comment this out. Takes a little getting used to. Okay. Customer ID. Accept customer ID. Write customer record. The record is... Do I need to get rid of that period? No, unexpected. Record description is missing. No, I'm definitely... It's definitely a syntax thing that I'm having issues with. You know, like, there's nothing to make you feel like you have no idea what you're doing than trying to pick up a new programming language. It really, really is driving me a little bit crazy here. Value... So, infile name, value, blah, 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 blah. Looking at the example. Value XX. So, this is the top level record, and then it should have that under it. MPI1, thank you for the €10 super chat. It won't update the donation tracker because YouTube is like that. Yeah, it's not been a good month for me, which is a lot why I haven't been streaming. So I think it's going to get a lot better going forward. And while I do oftentimes talk about my life, this is one of those times where personal life is personal. A lot of it, if you like, I'm going to take a brief break here, just talk about. One of the things that I've been doing on the side is I've been helping clean up and fix a project I did a very long time ago, and it's just been very time consuming. Fortunately it's nearly near the end, and there's a lot of personal life stuff that I'm just working through bit by bit. Oh, and hey, look, there's the notification bouncer. Well, at least the Streamlabs thing is starting to actually help. I think my word of advice to the people who are watching this chat, and I know a lot of people who watch these streams, well, you've been with me for a long time. So the little word of advice I'm going to give is there's often a lot of dark days you deal with life. I'm 35. I've dealt with a lot of shit in my life. Some I've talked about on stream, some I haven't. Value the good and always live in the moment. It's about the best advice I can ever give, because if you spend your entire life just caught up in the past, it ends badly. And I'm working myself on digging my way out of it, and I know people who are, some people who are active on Discord, some people who are just watching this to kill an afternoon. Do you know that you're not alone out there? Especially for those who, this is Pride Month, and I had intended to do a fundraiser this month, and it didn't happen for various reasons. I wasn't even planning to stream until about a few hours ago. Well, I guess yesterday at this point. If you're ever having a bad day, reach out to a friend, talk to someone, drop into my Discord and talk to someone. There's always someone available. There is always hope if you need it. And maybe this is just a bit of a disjointed stream, but I do hope for people out there who like to watch me suffer, it's making your day a better place. Now, let me figure out what I'm doing with this blasted record, because if I keep... It should not be this hard to serialize a record to a file. This is not C++. This is not the era of when we had to do it all by hand with MFC serialization classes. Well, actually, no, this predates that. It should not be that hard, because I don't care. I just want to write it in and out of a file. Cobol was supposed to be good at this. Alright, let me see if I can actually figure out what I'm doing. Okay, so if you want, read. So let me just do Google search. Cobol write record to write group record to file. So here's example code. So read studio and Open input student. Okay. So let me show you what I'm looking at. So I'm currently looking at a different tutorial. This one I think is actually a little bit more laid out. This one has a clear data division, and you can see here the student file has student ID with a 5-digit character, and it has, and you know what, let me make this bigger, and 25 characters for the name. It then has the working storage section here, and then let's see here. So read student into WS student. So this is doing a read operation at n move y to WS EOF. Okay, so this handles how you deal with reading records. So we look at the file section on this one. Organization is line sequential. So yeah, that's basically what I expected, because it's all fixed length data. And then it has an EOF marker. So if I want to do a write with something like this. So how is it specifically? So it reads student record into WS student file. Key is... You know, let's actually play with this, because this is showing some pretty interesting functionality on how Cobol actually works. Because when you compile and execute, forms the actual result here. Okay. You know, let's just try and see. Let me figure out how this all works. So let's take this actual example here. So let's take this copy of students. So let's create a students.text, and let's create a students read students.com. I apologize that this directory is a complete mess, but again, it's read students. So we need a data division and we need a environmental division. So environmental division, input output section, and then see, this says you use file section. So file set, let's do file section FD student. So this is a file descriptor for the student record. And then it would be, yeah, O1 student file, because this is defining the record. So O5 student ID, and that's a 5-character, 5 numeric. And then O5 student name. Okay, so 5-digit numerical student ID, 5-digit student name. We now need to have a WS, probably means working set. So let me... Oh, working storage. Hold on. I goofed this up. Yeah, I actually did goof this up. Hold on. Let's go back to file test, because the environmental section needs something like this. So select. So file section, so file control, file section, Right, so now this needs to go down. Alright, let me just catch up with chat. I actually still have not used ChatGPT. Like, I really should at least try it, but I actually haven't. Okay, so the file section goes under the data division, like this. And then file section is FD student file, procedure, hello world. Okay, so I think that defines everything we need. Read students. So student. So what exactly does FD connect to? File control student. Okay, so FD I think connects to select student. I think this, yeah, I think this file descriptor goes to this file control. I think those two are connected. Yeah. Line 15 syntax error. Student file. Oh, right, it needs statement ending. Period, period, and period. Okay, cool. That actually compiles. So if we now want to so now we need to actually keep a working storage section. So working storage is the stuff that we're going to be working with. So working storage. Okay, you know what? Now I understand why they use WS, because it's the working. It's the version of the file in working storage. This essentially, this is the structure of the data in disk. This is the structure of the data in memory, because again, working storage, and it's all global variables, from what I can tell. Obviously, there is object-oriented COBOL, but again, that's a little bit scary to deal with right now. So if we do something like this. Okay, and it also says that we need to have this needs to have an end of file marker. And, you know, I'm just going to drop the link of what I'm using as a reference right now, because it'll probably help. All right, let's sit down here. So I'm just going to copy and paste the code they give, because I want to make sure I understand how this works. Wow, tab completion does not tab does not work the way you expect it with this plugin. Okay, so perform until WS. Okay, so this is the loop variable. Read student into WS student at end. Okay, so let me rewrite this, because so we need to open the input student. That opens here the FD statement. I really hate the fact that this is going to be in a lower resolution, but hopefully it will. Yeah, I'm just going to have to deal with the fact that it's going to be at 720p for this video. There isn't a lot I can easily do about. Like, I think it'll be fine. One of the big things is, okay, stop run, at end. I don't see where the at end. Oh, I see. Read student. Okay, so perform until. Oh wow, that's a break. Okay, so it performs. Let me show you what this is doing. So the perform loop is a for statement. The condition's there. It's going to keep going until it reads in a Y. The read statement, this more reads like this. Every operation, it's going to read one record from the student file into the working storage copy from student to WS student. If it's at end of file, it moves the character Y to ESOFS, and then it breaks it. If it's not at the end, it displays the current record. I see how this works. Like, if you do it like this, it's... Oh, that is trippy on how that works. Let me get the syntax right. It's like a combination of an if statement and a read statement. Like, I almost wonder, can I do something like if WSEOF is not, I don't even know how if statements work. Let's just see if this actually works. Procedural division, header's missing. Oh, because... Okay, well, it successfully read some data out. That's a good sign. That's a definite good sign. Read after unsuccessful start read for file students, student.text, like read student into WS student at end, move Y. Read after unsuccessful start read for file student. Open input student, the file exists, and there's a close student right here. Oh, I see. It's probably... Is that the mistake I made? No, that was actually correct. Student file. Close student, stop run. Read after unsuccessful read start, status 48 for file. I don't think this code is correct. I mean, that's what the example code is, but read unsuccessful, read at end, move Y to WSEFS, which we do here, not at end, display. It then breaks out of the perform loop, but... Oh, wait. And read and perform. Implicit close of student. Because it's reading... Oh, is it complaining because it's reading past the end of the file? Like, if we get rid of the perform and we just read in one record... Yeah, if we it's giving that because we read past the end of the file. But it's... Read after unsuccessful read start, but we handled that with the at end. There are actual error codes, like, what is error code 47? 47, a read or start operation has been tried on a file not opened in input or I/O mode. Or, well, hold on. That's error code 46. Wrong error code. The preceding read caused an @end condition. So that's not an error condition. Why is it complaining? I'll try it. I don't think it's a case-sensitive language, but we can try. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's... Like, as far as I know, Cobol is not case-sensitive because it predates... Oh, wait. I see the error. Chat, I see the error. Do you see the error? You know, I should just do this all in capitals. Yeah, that was it. The loop was looking for a lowercase y, and I was writing an uppercase y. I'm very smart. Let's see. Change all occurrences. If I want to do a find replace, yeah, hold on. Rename symbol. Yeah, you know what? I think doing it all uppercase is probably going to look... If not look better, it's going to be a little easier to spot some of the bugs. Because at least I can keep the variables in lowercase. It'll be a lot more like SQL. Okay, so if that's how that works, then I should be able to now write a student into the file. So if I want to do select students as students line sequential, how about we open output? Well, hold on. There's a few other cool cases I saw in that tutorial file. So like, if you want to pull by a specific invalid key. Read student, so move to student ID, move. So here's something you can do. So let's try this one. So instead of doing this, display enter student ID to read, except student ID. Actually, no, it needs to be working space student ID. And then I don't want to do a read here. I want to do a read student into student ID key student ID at end display not found. Or actually, I say, sorry. Invalid key, display not found. Not invalid key, display WS student. Is that how that works? The fact that that's not changing colors is a little concerning. Key syntax is not valid with this file type. Oh, okay. Organization is indexed random. Like, just out of curiosity. Nope, that doesn't work. Yeah, so you can basically have a database where you have primary keys and not through handling this. Okay, I'm starting at least to get the idea of how this works. It's very different than what I would expect, because this is showing how you can do indexed accesses. Like, you can define it as access at random, record key is student ID, file status is FS. Because this handles the how the environmental control handles. Select file student assigned to index 1 in there. Blah, 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 blah. Curious if you can just do that with flat files. It looks like you can. Like, so we switch that. Let me copy and paste this copy here. So if we switch organization is indexed, access is random, record key is student ID, file status is FS, and now we can end that there. So how's that change things? FS is not defined. It's also not defined in their program either. Do I not need FS? Unexpected data. Data division header missing. Organization is index, access random. Line 13. Unexpected data. Oh, right, because this is showing job control stuff. Okay. I see how this is working. Okay, so this is talking a lot. So this version is showing more how you work with actual databases, like how you can create, insert, and remove records. Okay, you know what? That is progress. Now I'm starting, like, you can write the record buffer from the working storage and have a key that handles it for easy in and out. Essentially the dictionary type for Python, if you're familiar with working with Python. So if we want to have like a database where we could insert, remove names, we need to create a indexed organization. So organization is index, access is random, file status is FS. Do I need this? Because I don't think I do. Alright, so on 23, unexpected literal. And then on 36, it doesn't like that. Display student. So we try this. Unexpected. Oh, right, because this file is. This needs to be a binary file. Yeah, it needs to be a binary file. That's what it boils down to. Select files. Okay, hold on. Select optional. So if I do open output student, like that, and let's try like student DB. Alright, so that doesn't give any error. It just... Let's see here. File already open for student. Student to be... Okay, because we need to be able to... Can we... I think... Can you do open I/O? I think that means I can do input-output on the same file handle. Yes, I can. Okay, cool. Alright, so now I can query this database. So if we want to... Let's enter a student. Let's see here. Display, enter student ID to write. And then down here, what we need to do is write student, write WS student into student key student ID. So we do that. Not found. Did it actually write something out though? Does look like it wrote something out. Okay. Except student name. Oh, hold on. It needs to go. Oh, hold on. It needs to go into working storage and then get ran out. Well, it's writing something, but it doesn't seem to actually be writing it the way I'd expect it to work. Maybe I need to close the file. I probably have to close the file. Or... You know, just as a test, let's just do that, and let's test if we can do something with it. Let's see what the chat is saying. Yeah, like I said, I've been out of it for a while. It's been dealing with some pretty serious real-life stuff. Not stuff It is stuff that I'll talk about on stream at some point, and I just decided I need to get back into the saddle. I was actually planning on doing something with the compact portable. If I tilt the camera, you can see that I actually have it on the filming desk, but I couldn't find the CGA adapter for it, so I could hook it up to the capture card. And, I don't know, Cobol kind of caught my fancy, although I don't know how many projects I'm going to do in Cobol. I had this really strange notion of making some sort of web application in Cobol, but I don't know how much my pain and suffering tolerance is going to handle that. Then again, that might be a decent ongoing project, like, to create an actual Cobol database and then hook up a web service in front of it. I mean... It's kind of where I was thinking of taking this, but I'm also thinking I could write a web server in Cobol and I'd probably hate my life. Alright, so but right now, let me see if I can figure out the easier part of how this all works. So write WS student into student key. Like, let me look at how the, so if I want to rewrite operations, it can only use after successful read operation. Rewrite overrides the last record read. Write is used to insert records to a file. Once a record is ran, it's no longer available in the record buffer. Before inserting records to the file, move values from the record. If the access mode is random or dynamic, the file must be open in output mode or not. So you don't need the key Uh... Okay. Invalid key display, unable to write key. So let me try this. Write does not refer to a record name. Write WS into student, open IO student. Write subject. Would that be write into student file? Yeah, I think that would actually need to be write into student file. No. Write WS. Write record buffer from. No, okay, so it'd be write student from WS student. Okay, the syntax is different. Requires a record name as subject. Write student from WS student. If I just do this. Nope, doesn't like that. A lot of it with Cobol, a lot of it was just data transport over the network. I mean, you can serialize. The fact of the matter is, Cobol is basically designed to work on fixed width records, and if you're dealing with fixed width data, it is really trivial to send it from point A to point B with pretty much anything that can do I/O. Write requires a record name as a subject, but. Is it write student file it needs to be? Okay, apparently that was what it needed to be. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. Look, I'm actually in the database now. Although it seems to have written multiple keys. So now if I do like another one, so if I do like 10 test 2 and we look at the database, and it is in fact there, although I don't know why the entries appear to be duplicated, although maybe that's normal for the way the file structure works. WS student name ID. Like, maybe that's just normal for the way it works. I honestly don't know. If we want to delete a record, delete verb. So if I wanted to say I want to delete record 1. Delete, hold on. Move 1 to student ID. Delete student record. Is that really all I need? Oh, look, it actually did delete it. So now, if we want to delete, say, record 10 from the database, like that, Well, that one didn't quite work. Move IO and delete. Hold on. Oh, okay, so couldn't delete that. String students DB. Move 10 into student ID. Even though it does appear that there are multiple things with that being there. Delete student. Student file. I'm not certain why it couldn't delete that. Oh, wait, maybe... I'm not certain. It's a mystery. So that handles writing it. So if we want to read every entry in the file. So like if we want to do right at the beginning. Perform. Like if I want to perform, if like we want to do a read loop, it would need to be perform until WSEOF equal Y, and then down here we'll end perform to end the loop. It really wants that in lowercase, doesn't it? Read student into WS student at at end move Y into WF EOF. And then see, okay, hold on. Not at end. Display student name. Hold on. Not at end. Like if I indent this, display student ID, student ID. Like I want to do a whole block here. Oh, you know, hold on. I need to put a procedure in, don't I? Like I think that has to be a call. Unexpected 2. Oh, it's into. And on 32, it's 2. I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's not horrid. It's not great, but it's not horrid. Oh, I didn't mean to strings that. Student DB. Maybe there's not, maybe there's nothing in this database right now. Or, hold on. Implicit close, well, yeah, that's fine. Close student. At end, move Y to EOF. End perform, close student. Record key does not exist for file student. Implicit close. Probably because there's no records in there. Or I'm doing this wrong. Yeah, the file doesn't actually reorganize. Hey, Petro. I'm starting to get the idea of how Cobol works, and also I'm suffering painfully for it. Okay, so I think the way this works is it's essentially a sequential flat file database. So if we were to do something like move 1 to WS student ID, move NCommander to WS student name, write WS student, or write student this is okay. Write student from WS student. That should be it. Like, now there should be one student in the database. Requires a record name as subject. Oh, it got stuck in a loop. Oh, okay, so that time it just kept reading, it kept reading the same file over and over. Okay. So that time it actually successfully put something in the database and then got stuck in a loop. So... yeah, so this time I successfully put data into the database. And old data gets kept in the database until it's overridden. It doesn't get resized as needed. If we were to delete students.db like that and then recreate it, because this one would create one entry and then it gets stuck in an infinite loop like that because I'm not iterating through it. How do you iterate through all of that? Interestingly, each time I run it, I think it's only doing one file each pass. Just looking at my goals here. So open IO student, move 1 to WS student ID. So here deals with the section of how to handle student IDs. Like, how do I go through every record sequentially? Because there has to be a way to do it. Read record into not valid. Let me see here. Read all... okay, you know, IBM actually has some useful documentation here. Read next is what I'm looking for. Hold on. Read student next like that. Oh, At least it didn't get stuck in a loop that time. Oh, I probably need to wind the file to the beginning. So I am actually reading for the IBM documentation at this point because that is the level I've reached. So yes, we are actually looking at mainframe iOS stuff. I do it to myself because it's fun. It's a decent way to pass a weekend, and it helps support the channel in multiple ways. Format 2 must be specified for index and relative files in random access mode. Invalid key condition, read 6 statements, unsuccessful. If the read is unsuccessful, okay, well, this is more useful than some of the other documentation I have read. Must be defined in data division, FD division. So read correctly. Read the next section. Access. You must specify the next record phrase to specified records sequentially in files and dynamic access modes. Okay, so if I want to, I need to seek. I need to do an fseek is what I actually need. What is Cobol's equivalent of fseek? Because I need to have it wind back to the beginning of the database. Into next record into, because you can retrieve it by key or you can retrieve it by record. So we want sequential retrieval. File control, organization is indexed. You know what, let me do it like this. Select student read. Student read. Access is sequential. Record key is I feel like this is not the way you're supposed to do it, but okay, so you can't repeat the okay, so the variables have are not scoped. Good to know. I almost feel like read student, you know, I almost feel like I need to do this. Like read to student, not end. Read student next, like that. Oh, how did I break this? Read student into WS student. Access is random. Student file. Write student from WS student. Oh, student file. Actually, I think that's what I need to do. Like, is that? No, it's not file name. Read student to WS student. If I close and reopen the file, it should seek back. Like, I feel like I'm just trying to understand how it even works. key already exists for student. Oh, because it's trying to enter this key again into the database. Hold on. Let me delete the student database. Hey, okay, that time it actually successfully did it. Here, watch. Now let me put a second student into the database. Let's see here. Right student. Well, it didn't like that when I did the second one. WS student. WS student name, write student file. Record already exists. Do I have to use a key? I think I have to use a key. Yeah, maybe rewind is actually what I want, but I'll have to poke at it. Key record already exists. It's a very bizarre programming language. Write buffer, invalid key display. The key is defined as what? Like, yeah, key record is student ID, so I don't need to do anything there. This is basically primary key stuff. So, oh, you know what? Periods help. Well, they do help, but it didn't help here. Write student file from WS student. Loop 1. Record already exists. Oh, okay. So that time it worked. Are both those in there now? Students DB. Yes, they are. So not at end. Display. Perform. So is there should be 2 records in there. Okay. So let me do rewind student. So it's not rewind, it's change my write to rewrite. Record key does not exist for file student. Implicit close. Record does not. Oh, okay. What's in the database? There's nothing in the database. I don't think you can do rewrite blindly. I think it has to exist. Yeah. Move 1. Write. Like, I feel like this is not writing out 2 entries to this file, because when we read it back, we only get the second one. Put N in language is 1. At N, move. Let me make sure. Yeah, let me move N to WSEFS just as a safeguard. So this is going to try and read it back. So let me do a close and reopen, because right now... I don't think the second one is actually getting in there, but let me... Yeah, so it runs through the loop. It performs it once. I think it's override. You know what? It's definitely overriding this. Move right. If I want to put multiple records in, I think I have to advance something. Alright. Hold on. Invalid. Let's add some error conditions. So n right. Invalid key. Oh wait, does it have to be 5 characters? 2, 3, 4, 5. It has to be oh. Student ID 1, 0. Yeah, that was it. That was it. Does that work? I don't think that works. Oh, it does work, actually. Invalid key, student name, student ID. Yeah, okay, so that's how that works. My brain hurts. Oh my god, my brain hurts. So to do, am I losing my mind here? So if I wanted to do like invalid error handling, when I get to invalid key, I can either call a procedure or I have to set a variable, like down here how I do the perform until and handle this. Like, is that really the limit of my flow control? Because if that's the limit of my flow control, that's pretty horrible. Let me just get this organized. I need a moment to process this horribleness. I shouldn't even call it horribleness because, you know, this is where it all began, but my brain wasn't quite ready for it. I'm just going to write some notes here. Cob, file test. Does... what did I do in this one? Writes out a record to a file. Read. And I'm just going to get rid of the day-to-day one because we haven't even played with that one yet. And then... I'm going to stretch my legs for a moment and then figure out what we're doing next. I'll be back in a moment. Just give me a sec. Alright, and I am back. So I feel like the logical thing to do now is to write like a really basic CRUD application. Let me just sketch out some ideas here real quick. Just give me a little bit moment to brainstorm. Trying out Cobol. Basic CRUD application. Create student record. Update student information. Retrieve all students. Delete application. Create report. Like, it should be pretty simple to do this. Chat, do you want to see me, like, implement a basic CRUD application? Which, like, I want some ideas. Like, throw some ideas out for me. Like, we could do a students thing. We could do something considerably sillier, like, I don't know, a list of crypto coins. My muse has abandoned me for the moment. Yeah, I'm thinking like a very simple interactive application is the way to go here, because we could define it as a command line interface to define operation, accept values, and print values. You start with one that's creating student records and such, and you can build a second one to do the application such. Alright, so let me create a experiment. Here. So let's create a student DB file. So new file, students DB app. I mean, you're supposed to basically define something like the file section as a like there is a way to pretty print these sorts of things. Like, let me look at finding like Cobol pretty printer, like Cobol display record. Wow, that's going very slow. Like, if I want to make display look nice, I don't think... Okay, so you can create what's called screens in Cobol. Screen section, data entry screen. Oh, wait, this looks fascinating. Hold on. Oh, I want to try this. I want to try this a lot. So apparently there is a entire API for doing screen stuff. Hold on. Hold the boat. Hold the boat. Like, value, if I want to do display data entry screen, how does this work? Like, is there a complete version of this program? I want to check this out. I don't know if I have any programming languages that I like more than, like it's so bizarre compared to everything else I've worked with that I really don't know what to think about it. So, you know, let's just define a screen section. And let's try that in our read students application. Actually, you know what? Let me get rid of that. Screen section. Because it's not going to help. Okay, so screen section. Working storage. Yeah. O1 data entry screen. O5. Actually, hold on. You know, like, I'm just going to copy and paste this. Because there's a lot of syntax here. So value, and let me just make this easier to read. So value blank screen. And then this looks like it's choosing the characters of where it's going to print it. ID on screen into ID in... we try that. So like, let me try going, so let's like go to this display of data entry screen down here. Blank screen. Oh, it needs to be ID section. $28 unexpected literal. Oh, up there. 30 unexpected literal. Value ID section. So usually, you know, if it's an unexpected literal, it usually means I forgot a period like on the line above it. Okay, hold on. Let me fix my build script to be a little bit less stupid. I think that's to everyone's best interest. Whoa! Chat, look at that. That actually did something. Hold on. Hold the boat. I don't want this there. Hold on. Invalid key. Display. Chat, that did something. Hold on. Get rid of that. Yeah, look at that. It actually showed a UI. Alright, so if I want that to actually display something, ID on screen, ID and screen in to, okay, so there's a UI thing here. Like, I think this looks like, okay, so this is a very mainframe thing. when you deal with Unix, you normally, and this is also true on DOS and Windows, you normally deal with what's called character-based interfaces. On mainframes, they are typically green screens where the screen exists as a set of data. I've seen this, like, I've only seen this once before personally when I played with Stratus Voss a very long time ago. But this looks like this is built right into Cobol as an actual UI element. Like, this is like basically end curses. So it blanks the screen and puts at the top. It puts the ID there. ID on screen into... Okay, so this probably has to connect somehow. Like, how do these variables all interconnect? The student ID is this. To WS student ID, read student into WS student, display data entry. So there should be stuff here in WS student. Oh wait, if it's a data entry screen, it's the other way around. I want to read the screen. I want to name on screen, data from screen. Yeah, because I want this to go the other way. 10 value ID on screen. Because whatever I type in would, I think, go into this variable. That's not what I want. I want to do the other. I want to do the other thing. Display ID section. Interesting. Okay, so read file from processing. Data for screen. Screen section. Oh, is it? Ah, it's a from. Okay, so that's how the syntax works. I guess that makes sense because, you know, it's English. Look, and there it is. So if we now add another entry to this, name on screen 30. Student name. Oh, oh, hold on. So in modern programs, you have something called reflective design. In this, you have hard-coding UI elements. 10 value name. Oh, that's cool. Check that out. So now we're reading an entry from the database. It's only reading the first one. Not at end. Or am I only reading... Yeah, it's only reading the one in, but... Oh, that's cool. Just to make sure it's reading both entries. Yeah, it is reading both entries. So it reads data entry screen. Oh, hold on. It needs to accept... just accept an input. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It just needs an input. Accept, okay, hold on. What do I want to do? Accept was just the variable I defined, and I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, response buffer. Because this hold on, this needs to be end read, and then after it does the read, it needs to accept. Maybe like. Oh, check that out. That is actually working. That is cool. So now it reads the first one. It reads the second one when I push enter. And then it crashes, but you know what? That's fine. I'm not sure how you do previous, because I don't think I can read previous. I would have to store the previous ID and then go back and get it. Like, you'd have to know all the IDs and basically be able... You could do it. It's just kind of... Like, it's kind of awkward. Because how do you know what the next primary key is? Because if you're going for the database one by one, to do a previous, you would have to know what the previous ID is. So you'd have to implement a linked list. The only way I could see you could do it is by implementing a linked list. It's the only way that I could see it being possible. But you could then create a data entry screen for each possible entry and then type it in. Huh. I gotta think about that, because this you know, I've read about Cobol before. I guess I knew in theory it had screen capability like this, because you'd basically pull this up and then you would run a report on a mainframe somewhere. And that would let you look at all the information out of it. You know, what's kind of impressive is, look at this. This is 81 line. If I get rid of the comments, it's 72 lines of code to basically have the start of a database interface. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like modern web programming has gone backwards. I don't think there's a RAID previous. We could look at the... You know, let's look at the manual. Let's look at the manual. Read statement. Read record. Like, what's the... So here's what Enterprise Cobol for ZOS. So this is about as Cobol as it gets. For sequential access, read makes the next logical record in the file available for the object program. For random access, read makes the specified record from direct access file available in the object program. When read statement is executed, the associated file must be opened in input or IO mode. I believe Cobol does have a concept of arrays. They're not called that. I just know it exists. Also, oh, that is cursed. XML generate for Cobol. Like, I don't think it gets... No, hold on. I gotta put my glasses down because... I'm okay. It's just... XML causes pain. Because there's no doubt somewhere a Cobol application that was written in 1961 that is now connected to a web front end via a SOAP XML interface with the data just handed down the generations. Like, that's the stuff I'd expect in government. So, yeah, so if we want to generate... Is there an example of this? There is an actual example of this. You could do an entire SOAP API in Cobol with XML generate. There is a search statement. Searches a table for an element and searches that specific. Like, you could do a pretty interesting database app with this. To be like, this is what it was built to do, and I'll have to say that it's a lot nicer than dealing with databases in C. Dealing with databases in C is just sad. So, what we've learned here is that we can make UIs really easily in Cobol. I don't know if that's actually useful. Like, okay, let's I don't know what like the actual line is, but if I do something like value create replace, no, it would be create read update delete. And if I wanted to do that in, like, say, line 30, column 05, it's longer than it should be. Contextual header, oh, right. Leading or trailing? Unexpected identifier. Is it too... Oh, it may be too long. Yeah, it was too long. Yep, and then you see here how it has the, okay. You need to be elsewhere. You're going to be... I guess you're not going to support that many, like, line 24? Why do you end up over there? Oh, wait, does line... Well, that ended up there. Hold on. Am I forgetting how, like, things like lines work? Why is that not going down? Line 24, oh wait, I'm not rebuilding it, am I? No, it just kind of stays there. From line... There must be something that you have to do to find the screen size that I'm not seeing, or colon, blank screen, line 25, colon, like if I do line 07, column 01. Okay, well that kind of ended up where it was supposed to be. And then we do something like that. We could then, let's see here, so we currently accept into response. Here, okay, hold on. Not at end, this is where we need to do it. We need to display the screen here, display, and then we don't want to do that as part of the read operation. We want to do that here. And now we want, what is the syntax for accept? So we want to do accept statements, data transfer. Like, if I want to just accept something, I want to accept a single character. I don't want to need the enter line. System corresponding information, display usage, concept, date and time, yada yada yada. Input source field and data. Okay. What am I doing wrong here? Most COBOL compilers written in this century don't actually require that. Let's see here. COBOL accept one character. Okay. Visual COBOL programming guide. Accept line number, escape key. Accept value. An accept statement whose operand is not a display name is treated as form 5 with a form phase, blah 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 blah. Oh, maybe I don't need to do a display. Maybe I need to do an accept. Like, how does the screen IO functions actually work? Because at this point, I'm very, very confused. Like, let's look at the programming manual. I don't think we're going to build an actual database app today because I think my brain is starting to leak just understanding this. Like, I would need to sit down and write out what I'd actually want to create. Because now that I understand what I can do with it, I can create it. But I'm not sure what I want to create just yet. Like, if we look at the programmer's guide for the new Cobalt, here's the screen section. So you can define the back. Like, look at all the amount. Look at the amount of things that you can actually define here. Oh. Background color. Blank, column number, line number, prompt. Reserve. Let's see what the screen section describes screens to be displayed during terminal console I/O. So, if I wanted to create, say, a user database application, yeah, we would literally have to break out the flowchart stencil case here. I mean, you also have things like secure and no echo. A line clause explicitly defined in the definition of a screen section data will override any line clause. I thought Ada's programming manual was gobbledygook. This is actually worse. But at least it's logically worse. Like, what else can I even do? Because I'm not even seeing, like, a comprehensive list of everything you can do with the damn program. Like, there's this entire report interface that we haven't even touched here. The idea is that you'd have an interface application. Like, if we were going to talk about true mainframe, you basically would have one application running on a bunch of 3270 terminals. that would all be touching a single shared file on the database, a single shared file that is your database. And then that gets printed to and from. I mean, SQL as a concept, when did SQL... I'm pretty sure this predates SQL. Yeah, this predates SQL by 2 decades. I am feeling kind of inspired to do a brief video about working with, like, how the Y2K bug could have actually been a problem for records. Like, I'm literally sitting here and I think I want to do this video just because we've all probably seen videos on YouTube talking about Y2K stuff. I knew conceptually that this was the problem, but I'm starting to understand the full scope of the problem because there's a part of this that I haven't quite covered yet. If we go into our database, that's how do you change your data schema? Like, to add 2 additional characters for the century would not be trivial right here. Like, I think I just nerd sniped myself and I really hate it right now. Like, I'm sitting here thinking about what I would want to do to create a Y2K application. Like, if I wanted to create an actual realistic case for Y2K. Because I'm going to if I was to do that sort of video, I'm going to have to put a F ton of work into it. Because to show how the Y2K bug would work in practice, I would have to create I'd have to figure out how the date stuff works. Like, I saw a whole bunch of date stuff. Like, let's look at the programming manual. Like, what do we have in terms of dates? Oh god, I just realized I don't think there's a date type. Actually, I'm pretty sure there's no date type. Hold on. No, I'm nearly certain that there is no date type. Yeah, here we go. Like, hold on. I really do need to check this because at this point I'm not certain. Like, if you're going to handle dates in Cobol, Unix timestamps, like, this predates timestamps as a normal idea. Yeah, here's the data types. Alphabetic, alphanumeric, Boolean, index, national, numeric, object, and pointer. Which means that there is no date type in the language. There is no... Oh. I'm just envisioning in my head all the code that handles leap years, and I'm just like, I'm trying not to scream internally. Because ultimately speaking, because the way the data types work, 99 would roll over to 0, and you couldn't compare it for something that happened 7 years in the future because you'd get a nonsensical result. Yeah, that's what I figured. It was always, I didn't think that, like, I didn't think there was any specific handling for dates, which is a little bit surprising because dates are very complex, and that is something a computer, like, that would make things easier, but it may have been too complex to try and implement in base Cobol. I mean, even, like, what was the first programming language that actually had date time handling as part of its basic package? I know Python has it. But I want to say you don't have to go all the way to the 90s to find it. Probably TLC, if I had to really guess. So conceivably, let's go back to the editor. Right, that's a binary file. So if we were to have a data type, like, where's our working storage section? That would be something like let's add an enrollment thing in here. So student 05 student DOB, and because that's a top level record, that's a period, then 10 student day pick, that's a number, 2-digit number, student month, and congratulations, that is a Y2K bug. And it's a Y2K bug that would change the binary on file format if you were to correct it, because not only to correct the Y2K issue, you would have to correct the UI to add the 2 additional digits. No wonder this was such a nightmare. You know, I'm going to write my notes down for this because I kind of like the idea of doing a Y2K demonstration. But I want to make sure I know what we would do. So, Y2K Cobol demonstration. I'm sorry if this is getting a little bit off topic, because obviously I meant to program in Cobol, but I have successfully nerd sniped myself. So, Y2K, explain, so, video objectives, discuss Cobol and its basic functionality, explain, show anatomy of a Cobol program, show screens, reports functionality. This really does mean I would have to develop a specific Cobol application. Like, I couldn't just get around that. The program would need to handle management, handle dates and other processes. Like, I would need to do something in finance, is what it would boil down to. I would have to do something in finance, because ultimately that's the type where the error would show up. Because say that you're building 7 years. I don't want to do compound interest because that's math. Chat, I'm blanking for ideas here. Give me a good. Does anyone have a good example of what such an application might look like? A Y2037 demo is quite difficult. well, it's not that it's difficult. There's no real way to fix it except go to 64-bit. And it does look like we will actually have completed the 64-bit migration, that it's going to be a non-event. But Cobol was not an easy thing to deal with, so discuss it. Like, what's something that, you know what? Train schedule. Train schedules and ticketing. Needs train information and I feel like that's overly complex. Like, to build a simple one, that feels like it's going to be a fair bit of work. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, but I'm kind of mulling on this one. The traditional case for Y2K hit was in finance. It was dealing with interest year over year over mortgage payments. Like, that would, like, mortgage payments over year. Buy a house. Wow, I'm being optimistic here. Me, a millennial, talking about buying a house. You know what? I actually really like the library books one because, you know what? Library books return system. System needs overall, needs list of books. Okay, free tables. Library patrons. Books and system. Reservations. Need interface to create, to enter books, to check out and reserve books, and generate report of overdue books. Actually, that's a really good one. That Alex, John Barrycom, that is a brilliant one. That would show the exact problem. Like, say you have a free month book rental. You can calculate it relatively easy with a series of patrons. Like, so we can define our tables right now. So, library patron information, name, address, I don't know, status. I guess if you're in good standing, the books table, book name, book author, locator. That would be like the ID, and book author, locator, book name, book author. Locator, book author. And then rentals. Okay, hold on. Book locate. Current location. There's like no primary keys here, which is a little bit concerning, but so books table, locator, book name, author, checked out by. And like, I only need to have 3 books in it. It's not like I need a whole lot of information in this. And then checkout information. Date, book was checked. Okay. Checkout date, return date, interest, return date, days overdue, payment, yeah, days overdue, reports required, all books, all library patrons, all books in system, all books in system, and printing notification of overdue books with fines to show Y2K problem. Yeah, I kind of like that. I don't think I'm going to commit that file into the repo, but I'll commit the other ones. Alright, so the code's currently up on GitHub. I mean, this does look relatively straightforward to actually code and build. I'm currently debating if I want to do that today or not, because we're at the 3-hour, 20-minute mark. I feel like this has been an interesting crash course in working in Cobol. We can take it a little farther. Like, I'm not sure what I want to do next. I guess I want to probably be able to be able to add or delete entries. Like, instead of on this one, like, we could just do add, remove. Let's see here. Actually, I probably had that right. Because I probably can position the cursor somewhere. Like, if I want to accept at a given field, like if I want to have data entry screen, and I want, let's say if I want to do like a data lookup screen, data lookup, I just want to have the ID. ID on screen 2, student ID, and then we get rid of that one right there. So data lookup screen. Like, can I have the accept happen right here? Cobol accept screen. Cobol asks for a logic. Okay, from function name. So, okay, if I want to do something like this, you can do. Let me just comment this all out for now. And we'll come back to it. So we create the database. And if I want to display data lookup screen like that, except ID on screen, and then from, like, will this actually create line 22 syntax error? Like, let's see here, like, oh right, that's just from when we were trying that from earlier, creating that new field. So line 40, data lookup screen. ID, okay, hold on. ID to look up right there. We can get rid of this value, and actually this needs to... ID to look up, ID section, to students, ID, like... And then on 75, it's a little... Like, once you get the knack of it, it is not bad. It really isn't. Syntax error. So, how exact... So, if I do the program just like this, I should just get an input screen. Yeah, it just ends the program like that. No further entry. So, if I want to accept at a given location, so accept... Cobol screen line. Apparently, it looks like all I have to do is accept data lookup screen. Is that like really all I have to do? No. Oh, actually, look at that. Okay, hold on. Accept, read into student, read student into key. Hold on, if I want to read a specific key, there's a syntax for it. Let's see here, read input file. Accept. Read. Okay, so read statement. Read next record. Read record. Yes, hold on. Read record into key student ID. Actually, it probably... Hold on. It probably will just work as is. And then I just want to display data lookups, data entry screen. Which isn't right for this code, but it's close enough. So, 1001. Wow, look, that actually worked. Chat, check that out. Chat, check that out. That actually worked. So now I can type in 2. Oh, well, it complains because that record doesn't exist. So 1000. And it just exits there because it's waiting for an entry that doesn't exist, but... Oh, that's actually really quite powerful. Like, you can put quite a lot of information into this. Because now I can create an interface that handles putting in all the patron information. I just have to code it all. Like... If we want to create a data entry screen... I wonder what happens if I have multiple values I can accept from. So, like, if I want to do something like, I don't know, this, line 6, student name, like, what happens? Well, first I need to make the screen a lot bigger. And it immediately goes off to the next field. Oh, look, I can... Look at that. I can actually tab between the fields. I didn't code that. It just works. Oh, that is really neat. So if that's how that actually works, so then I can make this like an entry 30. And then that would be accept data lookup screen, and then I could just write it right into the file and read it back. I'm making a huge mess out of this file. Just saying right now. Accept, and then if I want to write it, yeah, like, it really would just be a matter of sitting down and coding it. It wouldn't be that bad. This is GNU Cobol, but this appears to be stock functionality for how it all works. Like, the screen's functionality is part of the language definition, so any compliant, Cobol compliant system would be affected by this. Like, it's actually really straightforward when you get right down to it. Like, if we go and... if I go and open... I really would just have to implement all these screens. And it really wouldn't be that bad. What it you know what it reminds me of? It, Fox Pro is what it reminds me of. Like, a programming language that's directly built around data entry and output. Cobol gets a bad rap because it was mostly built for... it's... what's Cobol stand for? Common... the B stands for business. I actually have to look up what the acronym stands for. Common business-oriented language. Yeah, I should have known that. So, free tables, you'd have to create the initial screen where you log in. So you would also need a landing screen for other functionality. Yeah, DBase basically was the small home version of this. Like, I've never coded in any of the Xbases, but Cobol being the pain point is very much what I would expect it to be. We're at the 3-hour 30 mark, and I'm debating if I want to kind of wind it up here. The stream participation is kind of reaching its endpoint. Let me pull up my dashboard. Let's take a look here. How are we doing? Oh, you know what? I never ended that poll. Alright, also, I just realized that I think my watermark has been overlaying my face. Hold on, I need to look at how it looks on YouTube. Oh, no, it's fine on the full size. Okay, it's just how it looks in the small console. So, yeah, if I wanted to do a video on talking about Y2K... call it Y2K, but with a real Cobol application. I think we've gone far enough for this short dive. I might actually live stream tomorrow, but I need to sit and think about this for a bit. I may not even code. Like, this might be something I code live. This may be something I don't code live. I haven't decided, but I do want to start live streaming more frequently. I almost wonder if I should at least code on one of the other machines so it's a little bit more vintage, but yeah, I think this is a good stopping point because I'm out of material. I've gotten far enough into this that I at least would feel comfortable going further. Like, we didn't do anything with flow control, but I want to say we've basically covered the vast majority of it. I'd have to set up a makefile, yeah. All right, so on that note, this has been your host, NCommander. I hope you all have had a wonderful day. I really do hope you all consider supporting the stream, either becoming a patron, using the stream links, donation. The next stream will be in 1080p. I will get that fixed. No, I do think Cobol web servers are a thing. The idea of parsing HTTP sounds a little painful, but doing an in-depth dive of the Y2K problem in Cobol, like, I don't think anyone's done a video on that. So I kind of am interested in doing so. Alright, anyway, until next time, this is NCommander signing out. Wishing you all a pleasant day. I will talk to you later.